Well, the numbers are in. We've just completed our analysis for the Autumn 2025 Price Predictor Index, and we're seeing a powerful wave of momentum sweeping across the Australian property market. I'm Tim Graham from Hotspotting, and today I'll be sharing some key insights from our latest Price Predictor Index, where we track the rise and fall of real estate markets all over Australia. This quarter, the data tells a very clear story. Momentum is absolutely building across the nation, and we're seeing an increasing number of suburbs and towns with upward trends in sales activity and prices. Of the 14 major jurisdictions that we analyse, which include 8 capital cities and 6 regional markets, 8 are now classified as winners, where more than half of their markets are on the rise. 5 are now classed as steady, and just 1 has moved into decline. Now let's break that down. Darwin is the biggest headline of the season. It's now Australia's #1 growth market, with a staggering 79% of suburbs and towns showing positive trends. Sales activity has absolutely exploded. We're seeing quarterly sales volumes that are nearly double what they were this time last year. Suburbs like Lenya, Durack and Nightcliff are all in strong growth, and investors are turning their attention to Darwin thanks to the low prices and very high rental yields. Regional South Australia is the unsung hero once again. 2/3 of its markets are showing growth, with consistent sales activity across areas like the Copper Coast, Victor Harbour and the Barossa Valley. It's a region that often flies under the radar, but for smart investors, the signals here are very strong. Melbourne's actually started to stage a comeback too. After a couple of quiet years, the city is now recording its best numbers since the pandemic boom. 63% of suburbs are showing positive performance and 46% are classified as rising markets now. Strong growth is actually coming from a mixture of areas, from affordable outer suburbs like Craigieburn and Werribee to inner city suburbs like Richmond and St Kilda. Adelaide just keeps on delivering too. It's been in growth mode for 5 years now, and the momentum hasn't stopped. 53% of its suburbs are rising or steady, with only a handful of declining markets. The Tea Tree Gully LGA stands out in particular, with 13 of its 18 suburbs now rising. Meanwhile, Hobart has finally turned a corner. 60% of its markets are now showing positive signs, which is a big jump up from last quarter. The Clarence LGA is leading the way, and suburbs like Hobart and Sandy Bay are now seeing consistent sales volumes. Canberra is one of the most interesting markets this quarter. Much of the city's momentum is being driven by a surge in apartment sales. Unit sales have nearly tripled in the past year, and that's helped push overall residential activity up sharply. Now 54% of Canberra's markets are ranked as positive, with Belconnen and Kingston leading the charge. Regional Queensland's also on the rise. Sales activity has lifted strongly in places like the Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Toowoomba and Townsville. The Gold Coast in particular has 64% of its suburbs in growth, including many unit markets. Coolum Beach, Sippy Downs and Rockhampton are among the standout performers. Sydney remains steady, but units are the quiet achievers. We're seeing 53% of markets across Greater Sydney trending positively, with strong demand in detached dwellings. Unit markets in places like Walleye Creek and Marlborough are performing, in areas near the new Western Sydney Airport like Liverpool and Penrith are showing solid momentum too. Brisbane is holding firm, with 53% of suburbs trending positive, despite a slight dip in sales volumes last quarter. Unit markets in Carina, Upper Mount Gravatt and Tenerife are now showing real consistency, while suburbs like Ashgrove, Kalanga, Regents Park are leading the house market charge. Regional Victoria is finally showing signs of recovery too. Sales activity is on the way up, and the proportion of declining markets has dropped significantly. Ballarat, Bendigo and Geelong are all showing very strong signs of recovery, particularly Geelong, where sales activity has increased steadily across 4 quarters in a row now. Regional New South Wales has also improved, with more LGAs showing rising sales activity. Places like Newcastle, Port Macquarie and Wagga Wagga are gaining momentum, and there's a clear lift in lifestyle locations along the coast. Regional Tasmania is steady, with standout activity in Launceston and consistent results in Devonport, but still lacks the broad momentum we're seeing elsewhere. Regional Western Australia remains stable overall, though places like Karratha and Broome are still recording positive trends, while Bunbury and Geraldton are now softening. And finally, Perth is the only market to show broad signs of decline. Sales activity is down across 57% of suburbs. This tapering off was absolutely expected after a very long boom. There are still some growth pockets, especially in well-located suburbs and unit markets, but overall, the momentum has definitely shifted. So if you want to get ahead in the curve and invest where the smart money's going, grab a copy of the Autumn Price Predictor Index now. And remember, Hotspotting, we're all about finding tomorrow's hot property today.